You are now listening to the Checkmate Arcade Podcast, episode 213, recorded on August 1st, 2015, brought to you by Frigid Blast Studios in association with NoobReview.com. Hello and welcome to the Checkmate Arcade Podcast, your home for quarter munching fun. And, well, I think we're gonna have to rename this the Destiny Podcast, because, I'll be your Destiny guide for the evening. My name is Stephen Boss, the Dark Boss Man.
No!
I know you don't like to hear it, but that's kind of all I've been playing.
Well, I've had a hell of a lot of stuff go on. What happened to July? I'm MSU Hitman Jason Billingsley.
It's been sunk into Destiny for me.
I've traveled to both ends of Illinois.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah, sometimes it didn't go so well.
Yeah, so I've heard. Sure, you want to start out with your car story, I guess?
Oh no, we're gonna do this in order.
Oh, okay.
There's an organizational timeline to this.
All right. Well, how do you want to start it then? The games?
Yeah, we just gonna roll right into it. Sure, I'm all ready to go here.
All right, let's get into our now playing. Because I want to hear about story time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of story time. All right, so I used up a bit of vacation at my primary job of work at the beginning and middle of the month.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, for July 4th week, took a trip down to Southern Illinois to see the family for a full week.
Always fun.
That included seeing my cousin, the retro collector. And that's all he can play anymore because he can't play modern 3D games that aren't like sports or racing because, you know, he gets... I've called it dementia before in like the earlier episodes, which is wrong. He gets dizzy and sick. He can't watch anything...
So motion sickness.
Yeah. He can't watch anything from a traditional 3D perspective.
Okay.
3D stuff gives him a headache. It's got to be static backgrounds or 2D or something. Sports and racing are okay, but, you know.
Yeah, that's an odd phenomenon, yeah.
Like anything first-person shooter, anything Resident Evil 5 on, or 4 on, you know. That type of stuff, no, he can't do it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there's a lot of good games.
Yeah. So, he has been collecting mainly retro stuff. I've told before of the not as magical pawn shop anymore that he lives next to because someone else has been going in there and has pretty much dried it out. I mean, he still finds stuff every now and then. I actually found some stuff there.
Oh, okay.
When we went down there this weekend, the first week of July when I went down there, I got Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix for $9.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than GameStop or anywhere else, so it's like, okay, that'll work. And then I got, what is that British, that movie, the Kingsman or whatever? That Kingsman movie where it's like the guy that did,
where they're like secret agents with special gadgets like MIB kind of thing?
Right, but it's hyper violent because it's done by the guy that did, what's that real life comic book movie thing?
Oh, Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass, yes. It's by the guy that did the first Kick-Ass movie, so it's really violent.
Yeah, the trailer didn't really show that off.
Well, you saw, like, the female lead with big old katanas on her feet jump up and do a slicing down, and you see the guy's arm extended out, so you know the sword's going through the arm, and then the trailer cuts away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They didn't really allude to the fact that it was a really heavy action, hard R movie.
It's supposed to be pretty good, and it was on sale the weekend before at Target, and I didn't get it. Then I saw a factory-sealed Walmart copy, because it had Walmart Voodoo sticker on it, for $6, and I was like, okay, I'll take that. And the dude, like, goes to, because, like, I guess they put the discs in there or whatever. They have, like, all the discs are in there or whatever, and he was going to take it out to, you know, whatever, because, like, the Kingdom Hearts one, and he's like, factory sealed, and he just kind of shook his head. Because normally, I guess they just have the discs, you know, in the cases out there, but they're, you know, got like a GameStop-like seal, which isn't much on them, but of course everything's, you know, camera and everything, if it being pawn shop, so
yeah. He's
going in there to wipe the disc down. It's a factory-sealed copy, and he just shakes his head, because, you know, they shouldn't have taken in a factory-sealed copy.
Yep.
Let alone be selling it for $6.
Yeah.
So, caught him semi-slipping there.
Well.
So the other pawn shop we went to, because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of choices. We went to 2 others.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not a lot of choices in Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
So we went to this one in Heron, and it was, like, run by this older gentleman, and, you know, it was fine. It didn't have much gaming stuff. I mean, they actually had a really good-looking Super Nintendo there for, like, $35 with the controllers, which is a pretty decent deal, especially considering, I mean, this did not have a hint of yellow on the plastic.
Yeah, that is pretty good, yeah.
It looked about as good condition as you can get for a Super Nintendo, and that's a pretty decent price.
Yeah.
Then we went to the pawn shop in Carbondale, right across from City Hall and some big church.
Okay.
This store is what gives pawn shops a bad name.
Oh boy. What happened?
It's smaller than my apartment.
Uh-huh.
It's dirty and dingy as all heck.
Okay.
And the clientele makes you hope that you don't catch lice or something in your hair or need a tetanus shot or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Or they don't, like, attack you or something, because they're crazy.
Yeah, that seems like a place you want to avoid, yeah.
Because, and just the crazy part of it is, like, guy comes in, like, ranting about, you know, somebody stole something from him, and, you know, and he knows he's been coming in here selling it, and, you know, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to take care of business, and the pawn shop guy, well, if I see XXX, I will inform the police, because that's all I can do, and the guy's ranting and raving. Meanwhile, his daughter with him, he rides in on a bike, and then there's another group that comes in, and the kids look like they haven't showered in a month, and all they're doing the entire time is scratching their head.
Ah, yeah, well, okay.
Meanwhile, like I said, it is smaller than my one-bedroom apartment in St. Louis. I mean, it is, like, there can't be more than 3 people in the store without them bumping into each other. And everything's dirty. And everything's grimy. And all the stuff's way too expensive for a grimy, nasty pawn shop in Carbondale.
Okay, well.
Like, how about we sell a yellow POS Super Nintendo for about 2.5 times the price that I just mentioned the one in Heron selling that was immaculate.
So, like, what, 90-ish?
Yeah, something like that. It was like 80, yeah, like 80 or 90, yeah, something.
Jeez, yeah, it's a little bit overpriced, yeah.
Yeah. But my cousin did get a pretty decent deal there. He found a couple of games that, on their own, all of their NES games were buy one, get one free. along with the movie. So he bought 2, and one copy was okay. It took him forever to clean. Both of these copies barely play. I mean, it took him 10 to 20 minutes on each game to clean it, to get it to work. But combined, he got a good deal because they both go for around $10. But he got both of them for that price, so it ended up being okay.
Yeah, but if they barely play, that's not really a great deal.
Well, he's got them clean now where they'll play. It took a long time because, like I said, this place is nasty.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we did play some NES while I was there.
Okay.
Start off with a recent acquisition of his is Batman on NES. Based, of course, off the first movie.
Yeah,
and
I think I vaguely remember this game.
Yeah, this is the action platformer that loosely follows the plot of the movie in terms of the set pieces, and then you'll have like a couple of stages and a big boss at the end, and then you have like 3 different sub-weapons. You have the Batarang, you have like some type of shot that's like a gun, but I guess isn't. And then you have like the spread disc thing. You know, you have the big circular discs that you shoot out and it splits into 3.
God, it's been way too long, so I don't remember any of this.
Okay. But anyway, so we played that for a bit and got to like the end of the 3rd stage, the 3rd boss, and then we got bored with that, so we switched to Mega Man 5, a Mega Man I have never played.
Oh God, I loved playing that as a kid. I know it's not great. Loved playing it as a kid.
It is hard as heck. It's arguably one of the 2 hardest Mega Man games on NES outside of 1. It's like 1 and 5 are the 2 hardest ones.
Yeah,
so,
if I remember right, it was pretty harsh.
Yeah, I mean, we got through, I think about 5 of the stages or so before we quit.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then we switched to Mega Man 2, and we were playing that for a while, and my cousin's wife got in there. I mean, she was wanting to play, so we decided, we'll do Mega Man 2, because that's a little bit easier. And we just needed something a little more familiar to cleanse the palates.
Yeah, I was always bad at the jumping puzzle in Mega Man 2.
Which stage?
Whichever one those moving blocks were on, the ones that appeared and disappeared.
What, Heat Man?
I think that might have been it.
You don't do the blocks on Heat Man. You play like Airman first, or Airman or Flashman, whoever it is that gives you the jet, and then you use the jet and you just fly over the gap and don't have to worry about the blocks.
Huh. Alright. Well, next time I go to play that, I'll try to remember.
Alright, so
I always have trouble with disappearing and reappearing blocks. We'll get to that in Destiny.
Okay. Alright, so we also played a bit of the NES Donkey Kong. I just did not realize that the NES Donkey Kong is just flat out missing one of the stages.
What do you mean?
There are 4 different levels to Donkey Kong. The NES version only has 3.
Huh. Okay.
I found this out, and also, just happenstance looking up Donkey Kong stuff, and then also playing the arcade version, which we'll get to in a bit.
I didn't realize it was missing one of the stages.
Yeah, it's missing one of the stages.
Huh. Alright.
So then we also played Casino Kid, because my cousin always loved watching me play that back in the day. And he'd never seen it beaten, so we found a password to get to Casino King, and I beat him. It took me 2 tries, but I beat him.
What's Casino Kid?
That is a series of games by Sofel. There was also a hard-to-find sequel to Casino Kid and Wall Street Kid. But it is basically Casino Kid 1 is you're this hotshot gambling kid. You go to this casino, you have $500, and you have to play, and you have to search for and find and defeat all the different 5-card draw poker players and all the different blackjack dealers to get up to $1 million bankroll, and then take on the king of the casino in a 5-card draw poker game to win the title of the king of casinos.
Well, I guess it's aptly named then.
Yeah.
But man, they really loved promoting things to kids that they probably shouldn't have back in the day, didn't they?
Well, I mean, it was just their series of games all were kid, because, there was Wall Street Kid.
Alright.
Then there was Casino Kid 2, where all the world's top gamblers challenged you, and eventually you were the king of, or the world casino champion or something at the end. And it added in roulette, in addition to poker and blackjack. Okay. Casino Kid 2 is actually really hard to find. That's like a $50 to $75 NES card.
That's pretty pricey.
Yeah. So one of the two games that my cousin retrieved from the Dangy Carbondale pawn shop, one of them he played, I didn't, and that was Gun Dot Smoke. Remember, it's not Gunsmoke, it's Gun Dot Smoke.
What's the difference between that and Gunsmoke?
Well, remember, Gunsmoke was a long-running TV show that Capcom did not have the license to. So if you're going to make a Wild West shooter and you're going to call it Gunsmoke, you better do something to the name so that they don't sue you.
Okay.
So they put a dot in there. Remember, this is the scrolling vertical shooter where you can either shoot straight ahead or diagonally.
No, I don't think I ever saw it.
Okay, it's on like all the Capcom collections. On like PS2 and PSP.
I probably never played it then.
Alright.
It might have been one of the ones I always skipped over just because, this doesn't look like something I want to play.
Alright, well, the other game he got, and I played for a bit, I mean, I own this, but he wanted it, for his wife and everything as well, was Tiny Toon Adventures.
Oh, yeah.
The original. Not the sequel, which we did find a year ago at the good pawn shop in Marion. But, man, that sequel's not a good game. The original, that's a good game.
Well, didn't they also do a game for the Super NES?
Yes, there's a Super Nintendo one that is hard as bleep.
Okay.
Kind of Funny did a couple videos on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is like uber hard, and nowhere near as good as the original Nintendo one. The original Nintendo one is just a straight-up Mario 3 clone.
Okay.
Which, fine, plays great.
I mean, yeah, if you're going to follow and crib off a game, you kind of want to follow off and crib one of the best. Yeah.
So, alright, so that's the trip to Southern Illinois. After that, I don't remember what... I guess some stuff happened the first full week of July after I got back. I don't remember why we didn't record then. But since we didn't...
When was it again?
The 5th through 11th.
I
don't remember what happened that week. Because then it got into, well, I can't do it now because... I'm getting ready to take my second trip of the month in the middle of July, and I went up to Chicago to see Cheetor Lives.
Oh, wait, now I remember. I remember what happened. That Sunday when we were going to record after you got back from your July
the 5th
trip. I'm pretty sure it was the 5th, yeah. That was when I was collecting all the news from that week and the week before.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and that took a long time when I was doing it, and I didn't realize it was going to take me that long.
Because somebody didn't do it while I was gone.
Nope. I was doing things like playing Destiny too much.
Alright, so that went into the middle...
Yeah, it snowballed into the Wednesday, which apparently you still had to pack for your trip before then.
Right, the 15th, yes. Well, because I had been working so much, I've been working more, and
Yeah.
because some things happened at job number 2 I won't get into.
Mm.
And, yeah, so I needed to pack because I was leaving on Thursday the 16th for Chicago.
Yeah, and then at that point, I had also been roped into doing Crota's End raid in Destiny with Mort.
Okay. So, Chicago trip. So, got there Thursday night, go into Friday, was it the 17th? Yeah, Friday the 17th. That was Galloping Ghost Day.
Okay.
That was also Portillo's for the first time to eat on the way there. And then all day the 17th was nothing but going to Galloping Ghost Arcade.
Alrighty.
You can find, I've talked about Galloping Ghost before. I finally got to go this time. Just search up Galloping Ghost on Facebook or whatever and you'll find it. And just so many arcade machines. Oh my gosh. I mean, we're talking like probably, I don't know, 80-ish different arcade machines. I might be a little low. It might be 100.
Yeah, it's a pretty good variety.
Just about any type of genre you want. They've got a handful of pinball machines. They've got every fighting game you could ever want, including some of the modern ones set up in made-up arcade cabinets. There was no arcade edition of MK9, MK10, or X, whatever.
Yeah.
And Injustice or Killer Instinct, the new one, but they totally made up arcade cabinets with PS3s or PS4s or Xbox Ones or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so $15, and you can play all day from like noon or whenever it is they open till 2 in the morning.
Nice.
You can even just hold on to your receipt. You can even leave and come back.
Yeah, that's a really good deal, yeah.
Yeah. So just played a ton of arcade stuff there, including some semi-rare stuff. Like there was this 3v3 third-person team-based shooter that Midway put out right at the turn of the century. I'm forgetting the name of it now, but, it was just basically, an arena shooter, 3v3, just crazy weapons and over-the-top, blitz, over-the-top violence that Midway was known for, since that was kind of the home of Mortal Kombat, so...
Yeah.
Just, shooting people and chainsaws and with that kind of blitz art style.
Yeah, it's not ringing any bells, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before either until we saw it there. I got to play Primal Rage 2.
Oh. Oh man, that rumored game, that's crazy.
Yep. The, as far as we know, only existing arcade board of it.
Nice.
They had recently refurbished the cabinet too, so, it looked pretty nice.
Okay.
And that game's kind of weird. I mean, Primal Rage, yeah, it's not a good game.
Primal Rage is just a weird series overall anyway.
But the sequel, so you're playing like these giant humans. I guess they're supposed to represent all the different tribes or whatever.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And the super moves are what turn them into dinosaurs.
Yeah, it was a weird concept at the time.
Yeah. Well, it never, people saw it at previews and then it never released, and then Galloping Ghost was able to track down this one arcade board, so
yeah.
As far as we know, they have the only working Primal Rage 2 cabinet in existence. So I played a ton of other stuff there. I mean, I just can't even remember everything. I played, like, Galagas I didn't even know they existed. So, I mean, Galaxian, of course, is the first one. Then Galaga, the sequel, is actually the more famous one.
Right.
I played Galaga 3. I played Galaga 89. Like, I didn't even know those games existed.
Well, those are probably just variations on the original.
Well, they're sequels, but I mean, We never saw those games in Southern Illinois. Because obviously Galaga 3 came out in the mid-'80s, and then Galaga 3 came out in the mid-'80s, because Galaga 89 I looked up was the fourth game, and it obviously came out in 1989, but I'd never seen them before.
Yeah.
Played a couple of other arcade games that I don't remember if they ever got to Southern Illinois and actually beat them. I'd seen pictures of them before. I played the Capcom 2-player side-scrolling Punisher beat-em-up game and beat it solo.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
So it's a Final Fight style game where player 1's the Punisher and player 2's Nick Fury.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It's not who I was expecting for player 2.
Yeah, and Punisher just does punches and kicks until enemies with guns come out, then he pulls out the guns and starts shooting everybody.
Yeah, okay. Now this is the old school Nick Fury, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I also played and beat with Cheetor Lives the 4-player Spider-Man Sega beat-em-up.
4-player Sega Spider-Man.
Yep. One-person Spider-Man. And you can choose. So this is, kind of in the style of the X-Men cabinet. One person can play as Spider-Man. One person can play as Black Cat. One person can play as Namor, Submariner, and one can play as Hawkeye.
Yeah, that one doesn't ring any bells either.
The thing with this game is it would be a Final Fight style beat 'em up in certain segments, and then the screen would zoom out. So this is like Sega doing like Mode 7 stuff. So like those, you'll be in the close quarters beat 'em up, and then the next part of the level, the camera would zoom out, and it'd become like a side-scrolling platformer.
Okay.
Beat 'em up still, but your attacks would have distance to them. And then eventually, when you get through that part, it'd zoom back in up close, and then it'd be hand-to-hand combat again.
Weird. Okay. I guess they were doing a lot of weird, interesting things with their games.
Yeah, so I beat that with Cheetor Lives.
Okay.
Cheetor took Black Cat. I didn't get to be Black Cat.
Who'd you wind up playing?
Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. It's just I'm not used to being with somebody who actually is like, oh, yeah, give me the female character. That's usually my role.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Black Cat.
Yeah.
But we got through that, so that was fun. Because I'd never played that either.
Okay.
So yeah, just playing a ton of arcade stuff. I mean, we were there 6-7 hours.
That's a pretty good chunk of the day, yeah.
Yeah, because we left, went back to Cheetor's place. His wife is studying for master's / practicing nurse. So
yeah, okay.
She got off work, and we went and saw Ant-Man, because that was Ant-Man night. That was the night Ant-Man released, 17th.
Right.
Good movie.
Okay, good to hear.
Better than Avengers 2.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, when I eventually see Avengers 2, I'll figure that out.
Alright, so...
I couldn't see it in theaters.
Alright, so then we go to the 18th, which is Star City, Chicago.
Alright, Magic Weekend. Woo!
Yeah, the first weekend that Magic Origins was legal.
Yeah.
And going on what's happening with the Pro Tour, which is finishing up day 2 as we record this.
Mm-hmm.
I had the bright idea of, hey, I'm gonna borrow. I got a Goblin Pile Driver, the pre-release. I'm gonna borrow 3 others from one of the legacy players at the shop. And I'm gonna go run goblins.
Methinks some other people figured this out too?
No, it's just that I just ran into just bad variants, and going by what is happening at the Pro Tour now, I should have got stuck with mono red non-goblins. Because that deck's just better.
Okay.
Yeah, mono red non-goblins is dominated day one of the Magic Pro Tour, and there's up to 2 of them are going to be in the top 8 for day 3 tomorrow.
All right. Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, I totally should have stayed mono red. Because, yeah, I like my Eidolons and my Lightning Berserkers and all that stuff better than the Goblins. But Goblins could eventually become legal for Modern. I ended up buying 2 more, or I ended up buying I traded my Star City mat for another pile driver and some money, and then I bought 2 more pile drivers because they're not taking off, so the price is really low. And I was like, well, I don't want it to be like the Rabble Master where the Pro Tour happens and it gets crazy expensive. So now I have a playset of pile driver just in case I could whip that up for Modern.
Yeah. Okay.
Possibly. So I have a playset of pile driver, but now I'm more like, okay, let's retool my old mono red aggro. Because I have everything other than maybe Scab Clab Berserkers. And I don't think the good list from Team Ultra Pro uses Chandra. At least I don't think so, but I won't find out till tomorrow when the deck lists are released. So that should be pretty easy to put together.
Okay.
Because I would get to play Game Day next Saturday night, so it'd be nice to play Mono Red at that. So if, as you probably saw on Twitter, if you follow me there at MSU Hitman, I went 4-5 on the day at Star City.
Yeah, it was a rough day.
Yeah. And Cheetor and his wife were visiting friends that day, so even if I got discouraged enough to quit, which I didn't, I wanted the experience playing, but, there wasn't going to be anybody at the apartment, so
yeah,
it was like, well, I'm not playing in Commander side. It was like, well, we've already gone through like 5 rounds or 6, by the time I was officially eliminated from day 2. It's like, might as well just play this out.
Yeah.
I won the last 2, got to 4 and 5. It's like, Goblins just, not cutting it. So.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
And knowing is half the battle.
Mm-hmm. So then flash forward to Sunday, and
I know you can't see it, but I was smiling when I said that.
Yes, good.
Continue.
Yeah. So we went game shopping at various disc replays, which is kind of the main. It would be in in the St. Louis area what Slackers would be, or kind of Slacker size stores, but kind of like a V-Stock like thing. They deal in used games and movies.
Okay, never heard of Slackers.
Well, it's a Missouri chain, so it's like a Missouri / St. Louis Metro East chain. So yeah, I think disc replays are done outside of Chicago, but that is the primary chain in Chicago. They're all owned independently. One dude might own 2 of them, and then there's another dude that own another 2, and it's kind of like a trading games like thing, where there's a bunch of them, but they're all owned by different people.
Right. Okay.
So I got a couple of games there. I got a girl that works at my second job. I got her a copy of Indigo Prophecy, so she doesn't have to borrow my PS2 copy. I got her an original Xbox copy. That'll play on 360. So
yeah,
because she's a big adventure game person. She loves Heavy Rain and LA Noire and
Life is
Strange.
At the time, I enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
I haven't replayed it, so I don't know.
I never got to the crazy stuff, so.
Oh, you missed the best and weirdest parts.
Yeah. But I still enjoy that game. 2 best friends, whatever. I still enjoy that game.
I still
was
think
different.
it's worth playing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it holds up.
No, it doesn't hold up at all. I still think Heavy Rain holds up now. I mean, there were some weird cuts there that totally make better sense once you get like the director's cut and see like some of the bonus movies, but yeah, I still think Heavy Rain holds up.
Yeah.
But anyway, when we got back from that, we played a bunch of Mario Kart. Oh, wait, what I got. So I got her that, and then I got Dreamfall on Xbox One, because it was like $6 or something. Or $6.99. And then I caught him slipping on Dragon Age 8. Or Dragon Quest 8.
Is that the one that's on 3DS?
PS2.
It's a PS2 one, okay.
Yes.
Dragon Quest 9 is the one on DS, or 3DS.
Correct. No, it's DS.
It's DS? Okay.
Yes.
Because it's 10 on 3DS.
That's never been released here because it's an MMO.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if it's on 3DS, it's on Wii.
Yeah, maybe I'm just thinking of the regular DS one, then.
Yeah, you're thinking of 9 on DS.
Yeah, alright.
But anyway, I caught him slipping on the PS2 Dragon Quest 8. They had it priced for $6.99.
Okay.
So I bought it.
What does it go for normally?
Generally about $20 to $25.
Yeah, it's a pretty good discount, yeah.
Including another disc replay we went to had it at $25. I'm like, oh, that works.
Yep.
It doesn't have the Final Fantasy 12 demo. Oh no. But it has the box and manual. Oh, okay, I'll survive.
Oh, right. That's right. They packed in the demo for that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if my copy has that. I'll have to go check.
And then Monday we went shopping to kind of the #1 retro game store in Chicago, and this is in Chicago proper. I forget the name of it now, but there's been different newspaper articles and stuff about it. It's in downtown Chicago, in Wrigleyville on the north side by Wrigley Field, and it's really pretty awesome retro shop, but they know what they're selling. Everything's priced appropriately to semi-huh.
Semi-huh as in higher?
Yeah, as in like a factory-sealed original Xbox 360 first-party wireless wheel and pedal setup for $250.
That seems maybe slightly high.
Yeah. And the one GameCube game that I want more than anything was in the rare case at the register.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Yeah, that's been getting more expensive, hasn't it?
$100 bill.
God damn, I should have kept it. Yeah, I got rid of it back when it was maybe 65-ish.
Yep.
I still made a profit off of it, but I probably should have kept it.
Yep, that was and we didn't get a chance to go to any flea markets, or yard sales or anything, but I was like, yeah, there's my Fire Emblem. Yeah, $100. Yeah. Let's sigh.
Yeah.
So that was my trip to Chicago.
Okay.
Then we go on the way back home.
There's where it gets interesting.
Yeah, so
Because I have no idea what's going to happen. You haven't told me on what happened yet.
So I stop at a rest stop. So start my car up I'd driven it, all the way up there, no problems. Drove it around Saturday to the tournament, no problems. The car had sat there all day Sunday, all day Monday. Started up Monday night, the check engine light's on, and my brakes are jerking like crazy. Like I'd push the brake, and then I'd be slowing down, and all of a sudden the car would jerk like I had hit the brake hard.
Oh, damn.
Like a delayed breaker or something. And it's like, well, I kind of got to try to get to St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I fill up on gas. I get out of the city, get something to eat at this KFC off the interstate. It was the worst KFC I'd ever had. And keep on driving. I'm 160 miles out of St. Louis. I'll take a nap at this rest stop here. And apparently I'd left the car ignition turned on and run the battery down, because when I woke up, I tried to start the car and it wouldn't start.
Well, that's never good.
So I semi-panicked, tried to inform the parental units, but it was 11:30, so they were asleep. And called. I don't have AAA, but I do have limited emergency coverage from State Farm, and they sent somebody out and couldn't tow the car to St. Louis without paying $400 because my towing only goes for 15 miles.
Right.
So jump started the car, and I'd run the battery, down or whatever. I guess I had the ignition on when I was sleeping or whatever. So jump start the car and get it back to St. Louis. And then I get, I was off on Tuesday. I got back real early, super early in the morning Tuesday, took a nap, woke up and no light on my car and it's driving around fine. So it's like, okay, well, we'll see how things go. And I go to work or whatever. And then Tuesday night, bam, check engine light on, brakes are going crazy.
Weird.
So this continues until, all day Wednesday. This continues till Thursday, where at job number 1, there is a Dobbs semi-close by. I mean, it's right in front of, where I work. I mean, it's a, 5-10 minute walk away. So I drop my car off there before I have to go to work and walk down to where the work is there in Shiloh, Illinois.
Yeah.
And with it being a Saturn, it took them 8 hours, the 8 hours I worked, to figure out what was going on with the car. And apparently there was some valve that had gone out, and this valve is what regulates the transmission and oil and all this other stuff. And it was what was causing all the error messages. And, well, we need to replace this valve to see if this clears up all the other errors.
Yeah.
Because we think that's what the problem is, but GM dealer nearby dealership is closed. We can't get the part until tomorrow morning. We really don't recommend you drive this car anymore. And
I don't know that anyone would recommend you drive it.
Well, it'd driven all the way back from Chicago and a couple of days around St. Louis, and
but let's face it though, you got lucky.
Yeah, so I had to spend the night in the Oric store.
But you didn't have to.
I'm like 30 miles out of St. Louis. Maybe I could have called the person that runs the Oric stores, and he would have come and gotten me, but then he'd have to take me back before, early in the next morning. And I was just like, well, I'll be less of a bother to people, and I can just sleep here and be okay.
All right.
And then the part got delivered to the wrong Dobbs location, and the part didn't get there until noon. So I went to go eat at the next door Applebee's, and then they got the car done, and everything's been fixed. Everything's been hunky-dory ever since.
Okay, so it was the valve.
Yes.
All right.
Minus today when I went to, I had an appointment, thought I was going to have to work because somebody got sick. Ended up they were okay, so I was able to keep my appointment, and I didn't know how long this was going to take. Apparently it only took an hour. Yeah, remember all those Saturn, that's big, the GM ignition switch recall, from last year? The CEO on Capitol Hill is getting grilled by all the senators and everything. And
the ones that would continue to stay on when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, they shut off. Like if you
Or
had too
shut
many,
off.
and thankfully I never had very many keys on there. But yeah, if your key ring was too heavy, it'd shut off the ignition, and has led to a bunch of accidents, and
Yeah.
all this stuff that happened last year.
Uh-huh.
Somebody never did get that recall done until today.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, so I finally got that recall done.
Jeez, man. You got really lucky.
Well, it was this problem of when it happened, they were like, well, you can't come until we get a letter, and then, once you get a letter, then you can call us back, and da-da-da. It's like, okay. And then the letter came in, and it's like, well, we don't have the parts because we're overwhelmed, and da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, okay. And I forgot about it. And then all this stuff came up with the, and I was like, man, I probably better just get this done since it's been a year.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
And by this point, they have a form. You just fill out the form, and they call you when they get the parts in.
Right.
So I scheduled the appointment and got it done. So
Okay.
shouldn't be any more car issues. Let's hope.
One would hope, but you never know, because it's a piece of machinery that has a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, just keep going, girl. I know you're 8 years old, but just keep going. Come on now.
Oh, 8 years old. I'm running a car that's 15.
Yeah.
Still runs.
Yep. All right. So after all that, some video games.
Okay.
These first two I started while I was in Southern Illinois and played more of as I got back to St. Louis. I started and completed the Jaws of Hakkon DLC for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Ah, okay. I bought it when it was on sale for the Xbox.
Okay. You won't be able to play it until you're near the end game because it's
kind of what I
suggested
figured.
level 20.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Yep. About 5 to 10 hours, depending on how much of the side stuff you do.
Right. Okay.
At the beginning, it can get a little annoying trying to find your way around because it's a very mountainous region with some swamps, and the map isn't like super clear, and like some of the areas of the swamps, you have to climb on different tree branches to get around, and maneuverability is a little annoying in there, but
the maneuverability was not Dragon Age's strong suit in the first place.
But it's a fun little DLC. Like I said, about 5 to 10 hours long. I beat it.
Yeah.
It culminates in another dragon fight.
Yeah. Okay.
So, got that done, and okay. It whetted my appetite for more Dragon Age. I'm kind of like, and I mean, it's weird because I actually interacted with Kyle Bossman from Game Trailers when he mentioned Dragon Age Inquisition. We do not know the sales of that game. We know it's sold 1.1 million copies its first 2 weeks, which is the best launch it ever had.
Yeah.
But that was not enough to get in the top 10 of NPD for November of last year.
Right.
And we do not know how much it's sold since. EA has not said a word.
I don't know.
I've just had this gnawing feeling in the back of my head that this is going to be just like Dragon Age 2. I mean, this one's at least critically acclaimed, but, are they going to pull the cap on some type of big, like, because, a certain person, there is, much like it seemed like the door was open for an expansion to Starkhaven in Dragon Age 2, which was planned and then scrapped. It seems like there is a plan, there is an open door for an expansion to go to the home of the Grey Wardens, because a certain person you interact with during the main quest goes there after their appearance in the main quest, and you never hear from them again. And their fate at the end of the game is kind of left open. And of course, there's everything that happens at the end of the game that is like, is this going to happen with an expansion, or is this going to carry over to the next game, or?
Okay, interesting.
So, I don't know. I've just had this gnawing feeling, and I was all hyped up, and even my question got read on IGN, and there was a video about it. And, it was like, I was getting all hyped, like, come on, steal the thunder from Witcher. Surprise announcement, huge expansion for Dragon Age comes out, this fall. Pad out, give you something besides Battlefront and sports for this fall. Because all EA has this fall is sports, Battlefront, and Need for Speed. Come on. Come on. Or spring of next year even. Like, come on. Come on. Give me something Dragon Age. Come on. No.
Yeah. I think the announcement that they weren't going to develop the DLC for last-gen consoles might have been a hint that something was up.
Well, I mean, it seems like, they're... Well, not anymore. So you can get Jaws of Hakkon on 360 and PS3, but they've said any future Dragon Age DLC. And to be fair, they have made it to where you can transfer your character and the Jaws of Hakkon, if you purchase both, to the new consoles.
Yeah.
You cannot transfer the deluxe edition upgrade, though.
Yeah.
I had to do some sleuthing for you, but...
Yeah. I saw.
That doesn't transfer, but everything else does. If, your save was still available when that patch went online.
Yeah, which it definitely wasn't.
We covered that before, yes. So, all right. So, second game was one that came out early spring on PS4 and PC. It's a quirky little independent game.
Yeah, it's an interesting game.
Yeah, and it was. I guess I just need to get over the sticker shock of there's going to be $20 downloadable games now.
I guess, but that doesn't make it any more acceptable for how much they're just going to keep charging up.
But I got it when it was on sale for like $8, which was right before.
Okay, yeah, that's a much better price.
Yeah. So I picked up Hand of Fate.
Okay.
This is a roguelike card game / Batman brawler.
Top-down action. 3/4 view action.
Yeah, it's Batman. It's Batman's combat, just slower. Slower and a little jankier. But it's literally the same Batman combo, like button presses do the same stuff. Triangle's counter, circle is stun, square is punch. X is jump in that one instead of whatever X is in Batman. But anyway, so you're with this fortune teller looking dude who's actually this evil magician, and you're playing this card game to the death where he deals out the cards face down, and there are multiple floors per encounter, and you move one space at a time, and you move to the next card, it flips up. It could be a shop, it could be an encounter, whatever. And if it's a battle encounter, then you'll go into this Batman-style combat. And there are also choices where, like, you'll have chances for success, failure, great failure. And there'll be, like, 1 of 4 cards they'll shuffle around, you'll pick. And that kind of determines... And so you just go through these levels.
Yeah, that determines the loot.
Yeah, well, it determines if good thing happens and you get the loot, or bad thing happens, you get hurt, or whatever.
Yeah.
You have like 100 life. You can find shops and stuff to upgrade your health. There are curses and blessings. As you progress in the game, you'll automatically have curses on you that you won't be able to take off unless you grind for a ton of money.
Yep.
Each time you move
armor.
Yeah, you can find armor and weapons that you can upgrade.
Yep.
And artifacts, and then special moves. Each move you takes one food. So there's your health, there's your food, and there's your money. You must manage those 3 resources to last until you get to the boss and defeat the boss. And once you defeat 3 bosses, your starting equipment will be upgraded.
Okay.
and you progress through until you beat all 12 bosses, and then the 13th level is the dealer himself.
Oh, okay.
So far, I have beaten 10 levels. Then once you also get halfway through the game, really meant to be played once you complete the game, you can do an endless mode.
All right. And that's the endless, just going through the deck?
Yeah. Just keep going until you're dead.
Okay.
Gives you a reason to play it, to unlock the rest of the cards and encounters and weapons and everything after you beat the story.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, it's a fun little quirky, indie game, PS4, PC. I got it when it was on sale. I don't know if it's worth $20, but it's interesting if you like Batman combat and you like card games. It's an interesting hybrid.
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting concept, so I added it to my Steam wishlist.
Well, speaking of Steam, because you could play it on that, I got it for free on PS4. Is, of course, the game that is taking the game journalism industry by storm, Rocket League.
It's not just the journalism side of it, it's the entirety of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Greg Miller in terms of, he's been going to a lot of conventions. I've done some traveling, and then I've had a lot of issues with my car and stuff, so I've not played that much of it. So, but I played a little bit. I went through the tutorial. I can't do any of the aerial stuff at all. I suck.
Well, it takes practice.
I've only played a couple of games online, but it's a really awesome game. I would not have bought it for the full $20 price, but I got it for free. Yay, PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, it's a great game. You literally have, if you're listening to this and you haven't picked it up yet, it's too late. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for PSN, yeah.
Yeah, for PlayStation Plus, but be looking to get it on sale or something because it's an awesome game and it's going to be up there in Game of the Year discussions. So,
yep.
Speaking of which,
and we could actually play it together because it's cross platforms.
Right. And I don't know how I would invite you. I've not messed with it enough to know.
Yeah, that part I don't know. No clue.
But eventually we could, yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of Game of the Year, I started episode 4 of Life is Strange.
Okay.
My female friend from my second job has already beat it. Ginyu's already beat it.
Mm-hmm.
I've not beat it yet. I got to the first major decision of episode 4.
All right.
Apparently I'm a horrible person.
Why? Because you picked the option that they didn't?
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder what that means.
The only hint I will give you is the last name of...
This is a spoiler.
See, now that's way too much of a hint.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember that.
Okay, well, she didn't. So, but you're much older than she is. You're older than she is. So she didn't know who that was. Because she was like, "What did you decide?" And I text her back because I literally sat there 10 minutes, at the cross media bar, oh my god, what do I do? I'll do this. And I text her that word back. She was like, "Who? What?"
Of course.
I was like, "Oh, you," because she's 22.
Well, yeah, obviously. Then she wouldn't know who that is.
Yeah, so maybe that's too much of a... Sorry.
That's a little too inside, and you gotta be around 30 to remember him.
Yeah, or at least, yeah, so sorry. But
28, 29, 30.
Yeah. But yeah, so I've not even gotten into the meat of the episode yet, which apparently just gets really dark, and then there's another WTF ending, and I need to beat that. So, yeah, I need to play episode 4 tomorrow night and get through that. Apparently the episode is 4 hours long. I've only played it for 30-ish minutes. Apparently it's 3 to 4 hours long.
Yeah, it seems like double length of the normal adventure episodes.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right, so 2 handheld things to finish up with here.
All right.
I got back into Fire Emblem Awakening because I started watching from Nintendo's YouTube their stuff from E3, their Treehouse stuff about Fates and whatever the hell they're calling Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem now. I will still call it that until future reference, until that obviously Japanese name is changed to whatever it's going to be in English.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Like what?
I thought they just said it was. Fire Emblem Shin Megami Tensei?
No, that's the name it has been known under. But apparently in Japan, oh gosh, you're gonna make me look this up.
Well, wasn't it previously known as like Cross?
Yes, it was previously known, and I will name it until we have the official English name of Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. That is how I am going to reference it, and yes, I'm excited for it. I don't... Give me the J-pop explosion.
Well,
my body is ready. JPEG of the children's Christian conference with the crying dinosaurs and flashing lights. Yes, my body is ready for this.
Okay.
You're going to make me look this up. All right, so it is... What is it? No.
Well, just...
No, stop autoplaying. It's... Oh, gosh darn it.
If you can copy it, I can probably look at it in the chat, see what it is.
Oh, come on. All right, fine. You're going to make me go to the history? Fine. Oh, gosh darn it. Like, this is showing up in my recommended things because I've watched it like 5 times. So, like, why, when I'm trying to find you, it's not showing up?
That always seems to happen on YouTube. I don't know why.
Not Earthbound, not that. Ginai Inbun Roko hashtag Fire Emblem.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I am calling Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem until we get an official English name. Because there's no way in hell that is the name for it in the West.
Do they say what it's supposed to mean? Or no?
Not really. I don't think they really touch about it.
Post it in the chat, and then I'll look later. I'll try and translate it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Because there's like the 2-minute trailer, and then there was like a 40-minute, like, they go through like one of the first dungeons and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll have to find that later. I'm not going to do it right now.
Yeah, I'll do the auto translate, and I'll find out what that's supposed to mean.
That's its Japanese name. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll do the auto translate for Google and see what it says.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So it's like, yeah, I should probably beat Fire Emblem.
Okay.
So I beat a couple of the chapters. I'm on either chapter 22 or 23. I forget.
All right.
So I'm near the end, but I'll probably never play that thing to completion because, like, I only have like 5 of the kids or whatever. Like, literally, I think that's it. I think I only have like 5 kids unlocked.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. Well, I just haven't been doing a whole lot of S ranks. I've just been, trying to get through. Like, I have like a core of like 12 to 15 people. They're all built up fairly well. Not as well as some of these teams I come across via Spot Pass, but...
Well, that's that's the case with every single person who's been playing it for a very long time.
But, I've got these 12 to 15 that are built up, and then everybody else just kind of hasn't been touched.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have the XP/gold grinding maps, but, I mean, I did that for a while because I think I got to chapter 20 and got my behind stomped in, so that's when I started doing the grinding stuff, and I just got away from it. But
yeah, well, the way to get the kids is just to do the relationships.
yeah, I know. I just haven't, I haven't gotten, I haven't used Sully since like chapter 5 or 6, and then Cordelia I stopped using, and I'm just going to have to build those up, and just hadn't done it.
By the way, I'm really sorry for all the noise in the background,
Um,
because I know people can hear that. So
it's
there's
fine.
not much I'm going to be able to do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple fans going here. Hopefully, it's not
No,
too.
no, no, not even the fans. People will know what I'm talking about
Well,
when they hear it.
right. I mean, I've heard it. I've just ignored it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So gonna try to get Fire Emblem beat here at some point. It was our 2013 game of the year. I should get it done.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good.
And
Especially because you can choose how you do the ending.
I saw that. And yeah, I don't know which way I'm going to go. We'll find out. But I guess you can replay it at any time. So once you beat it, just
Yeah, you
puts
go back and then do the other ending. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's only one canon ending for me.
Okay. All right. So the final game I played is a new release this week. I have the Vita version of it instead of the PS3, Lost Dimension.
Okay. And what's this?
This is a small studio in Japan game picked up by Atlas, published by Atlas. It is... I describe it as a cross between Freedom Wars, Valkyria Chronicles, and Danganronpa.
That's a weird cross, yeah.
So the combat plays a lot like Valkyria Chronicles,
Mm-hmm.
except it's futuristic with guns and swords, so that's where the Freedom Wars comes in.
But turn-based, okay.
Yeah. Turn-based, you control... Now, the enemies can't shoot at you while... It's fully turn-based, but it's in 3D. But unlike Valkyria Chronicles, the enemies do not... It's not real-time. In Valkyria Chronicles, when you choose a unit and move them, the combat is real-time until you hit aim, and then the combat pauses as you aim.
Right, okay.
In this, you take a turn, you move around, nothing happens till you choose whatever attack or whatever ability you're doing. But it's a 3D, like a Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah, alright.
But it's futuristic with guns and swords, so that's where the Freedom Wars comes in.
Right.
And then when the Danganronpa comes in, you're this group of 11 young or teenagers to young adults called SEAL. You all have special gifts, and you're the only people that are able to save the world from nuclear annihilation from a mysterious entity known as the End, who has built this large tower that has not been able to be penetrated except by your group. And in 13 days, he promises to rain down nuclear destruction on the rest of the world that he hasn't already killed yet. And you must stop him.
Good old tropes. Just digging straight into that well, aren't they?
Oh, we're getting further because you and and the other 10 people in your group, you all have amnesia. You don't know.
Of course. Every time.
But here's the interesting part. So there are traitors in your midst that have made a deal with the End to be on his side. But you don't know who they are.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, now this is starting to ring a bell. I think I might have heard a little bit about it.
Yes. Once you get to each floor, you will have a Danganronpa-like trial where you have to vote on the person to kill to open the stairs to the next level.
Okay.
Once that person is erased, they turn into materia. Yes, it's called materia.
God.
And you can give that materia to one of your other party members and unlock certain party members' skill trees. Like there'll be party members that say need X materia. And if you give them that materia that matches up, then it unlocks that part of their skill trees.
Okay.
The first floor, it's the same person is always the traitor. And he's not the real traitor. He just kind of does something really stupid because he's afraid. And then, that person is erased and he goes to the next level. the first floor is basically just a gigantic tutorial. I mean, there are some side quests.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd have to give people a chance to get accustomed to something like that, yeah.
Right. From the second floor on, every playthrough, the traders are randomized.
Mm-hmm. Got a little bit of roguelike on it.
Yes. Because it's meant to be played multiple times.
Yeah.
And if you get to the end and the trader or traders are still in your group incorrectly identified, then they join him for the final boss battle.
Aha! Wow.
And it has Persona-like elements because, Jason, how do you determine the trader? Well, once you start on the second floor, well, after every mission, you can talk to your teammates. And the first two you talk to, you will get a camaraderie boost. And then as you talk to them, it unlocks additional conversations. And once you get through these additional conversations, starting on floor 2, you can utilize a vision point that you earn. You earn these vision points as you progress through the level, through the floors. And you go and you basically the main character's power is kind of a mystery up until you get to the second floor, because other people have like telepathy, or they can float, or they have fire, or they're super strong, or whatever. You know, everybody's ability becomes pretty obvious on the first floor except for yours. Right. Yours comes out on the second floor, and why you're the leader. Because you can delve into a person's mind and see their true inner thoughts. So you use these vision points to dive into people's minds to see if they are the traitor or to eliminate them as the traitor. And you use the relationships you build up to influence the way people vote. Because obviously the traitor will try to point the finger at somebody else, and you have to find out who the traitor is and convince everyone they're the traitor.
Okay.
Yeah. Because apparently you get 2 votes and everybody else gets 1 for some reason.
Maybe because you're the leader.
I guess. That's how it happened on the
And
first
maybe because there's only 10 people at the start of the second...
Well, 11 counting yourself, yeah. I guess.
Okay, so yeah, there would be 10, though, after the first floor.
Correct, yes. There would be 10 left.
And somebody's got to be able to break the tie.
Right. So, yeah, so that's kind of, you know, like I said, it's got elements of Freedom Wars, Danganronpa, Valkyria Chronicles, and even Persona, or Light Persona.
Okay.
It's not going to win any awards on graphics. It has to bring up a loading screen for the combat animation, which I thought may have just been the Vita version, but is apparently also on the PS3 version.
Wow. It's
a very quick load, but still.
Yeah, it's a little odd, yeah.
The fact that it needs a second-long now loading screen to load a combat animation?
I'm guessing it obviously wasn't optimized very well.
I guess not.
Yeah.
You know, Game Trailers did a video today where almost the entire Game Trailers crew is watching the one dude play it for 20 minutes.
Right.
And he doesn't get to the trial in the 20 minutes, but it is an interesting game. If you're wanting a JRPG to tide you over on PS3 or especially Vita for Persona 4 Dancing All Night or Danganronpa 3rd episode, which is not like the other 2 games, you know, whatever, but
yeah.
This is interesting. It is an interesting game that is probably worth a playthrough. And I think I'm going to enjoy it more than Freedom Wars. Because you'll be able to beat it solo, unlike Freedom Wars. Which requires you to connect online.
Well, technically, Freedom Wars was Monster Hunter, just with a bit more user-friendliness?
Yeah, and so Lost Dimension passes, you know, the tests that Freedom Wars and Tales of Hearts R did not, in that they did localize it in English.
Mm-hmm.
But this ain't no Persona voice cast that Atlas got.
Right.
Yeah, the voice work is not terrible, but not great. It's
Well,
there.
it's based on the budget,
Yeah.
so if they can't afford to get the bigger name actors, then you kind of have to go with whoever you can afford.
So, yeah. So, decent game. At my GameStop, it's selling fairly hot. If you count 4 copies hot.
Uh, Probably not.
But, we've sold out of it twice. Or they've sold out of it twice. Whereas the PS3 copy is just sitting there. But
Okay.
yeah, so interesting little game. That will be fun to play alongside Fire Emblem
Mm.
when I have those opportunities. And I'm finally done with my month.
Yeah, it's been a while.
All right, Steven, what have you been playing?
Well, I guess we'll start off with the repeats that are not Destiny, and we'll work our way to Destiny. So I played and finally finished Might and Magic Clash of Heroes on Xbox Live Arcade.
Yay!
Finally unlocked everything again. Finally. So now if I want to go play it, I have everything unlocked again. Alright. So it's such a good game. It's just that final section of the campaign is just really, really grindy. And a little bit luck-based, because you have to get lucky with the final character you play as. Their ability sends down 5 lightning bolts randomly on the field. You kind of have to get lucky with where the random bolts hit, so that you can actually do enough damage to the boss to defeat them.
Okay.
It takes some real getting used to, and some real just trial and error. It's like, okay, the random numbers didn't work out in my favor that time. Try it again. And that's the only section of the game that's like that, which is really dumb. I don't get it. Anyway. Finally done. Finally completed again. Still really, really would love a sequel to that. Just would love to play more of a game in that style.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, then we'll move to Xbox One, where I played a bunch of Titanfall. Finally completed a bunch of the achievements that I really was trying to get to. Were just taking forever to try and get. Those being the daily quest, the daily challenge achievements, and finally was able to hit my regen and get to Gen 2, essentially prestiging. So, had some fun with that, because driving a giant mech around and punching pilots and watching them insta-gib is just fun. And then ripping them out of their opposing Titan and squishing them in your fist is kind of fun, too. That game is just fun. All around fun. Oh, then I was also playing some Peggle 2 on my Xbox One, but wait, don't I already own Peggle on 360? You're right, I do.
Yeah.
It was on sale for like $4. And this sale on Xbox One included DLC that never came to the 360. So I was like, alright, sure. I guess I could go for some Peggle again. So I've been playing through that, and I've almost finished the main Peggle boards again, once all the way up through the Celestial Realms. But I haven't quite finished off Celestial Realms yet. Then I'm gonna head into the next 2 of the Peggle Masters that were introduced. One of them is a fairy who's got a fairy power that creates a bunch of purple pegs on the board. And then the second one is Jimmy Lightning from the first Peggle, and he's got his infamous multi-ball again. So he's basically the only other returning Peggle Master other than Bjorn, the unicorn. which is I found odd because I thought a couple of the other Peggle Masters were maybe a little more popular and would have made the game a bit more interesting because their diversity, like the lobster Peggle Master from the first game, who could turn, who basically created flippers and it made the game into like a little bit of pinball. That could have been fun, but yeah. All right. So we have the multi-ball power instead. But yeah, I'm interested to see where they what they did for the new Peggle boards for those two masters. Okay. So I'm almost there. You know what? I'm gonna skip and come back to Destiny after I talk about the only new game that I was playing, and it's not even that new because it's like 2 years old at this point.
Yeah,
3 years
old. But it's an uncommon game.
It's a really good game for the 3DS, because I started playing Luigi's Mansion: Dark Moon, sequel to Luigi's Mansion from the GameCube.
And yes, it is an uncommon game. Go try to find it right now. Go on. Yeah, okay, well, since I already own it, I don't have to worry about that. Well, right, I'm talking to the audience, like, go, come on, go try to find it right now.
Yeah.
Go to a retailer and try to find it. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, what? $40 used at GameStop, what?
Yeah, that's a bit expensive, considering it is a $40 game.
Well, and it'll probably even get higher because Nintendo didn't reprint it. Hello, $55 Ocarina of Time.
Okay, well, good thing I own a physical copy then.
Yep.
Well, anyway, Luigi's Mansion: Dark Moon basically starts up with Professor Egad, the bumbling scientist, I guess would be the best description of him from the first game, has set up shop in a valley called Dark Moon, I believe. And the valley has a bunch of tame, nice ghosts roaming around that are kind of helping him out until something goes very, very wrong, and something happens to the Dark Moon in the sky. Yes, something has corrupted and destroyed the Dark Moon, and these shattered fragments of it have fallen to the valley, scattering throughout the mansions that are littered in the valley. So, of course, Professor Egad, well, that's not good. So he has to run out of there because suddenly all the ghosts go crazy. So he runs to his secret underground bunker where he enlists Luigi by way of Pixelator, which literally pixelates the characters you pointed at and puts them wherever he needs them digitally. So teleport, i.e. He enlists Luigi, and he's off again on another ghostly adventure through various mansions of different themes. The first mansion you encounter is basically styled after the mansion from Luigi's Mansion. So basically just a mansion style. Whereas the second mansion that I'm currently in is themed after a hollowed out tree. So it's more leafy, more green, a lot more plants, like piranha plants to try and eat you.
Okay.
And of course, the main mechanics return from the previous game where you have to flash ghosts with your flashlight to weaken them. And then as soon as they're weakened, you start vacuuming them up. So Ghostbusters, it is definitely inspired by heavily. And it is incredibly fun to play. Controls are spot on. Though I would mention it does have motion controls as well that are not optional.
Oh.
I.e. you cannot turn them off. However, all the controls are mapped to actual buttons, so you're not forced to use them. But the fact that you cannot turn them off means you kind of don't want to be playing the game when you're in motion, say, in a car.
Right.
Because it makes it a little jittery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started playing it in a car when I was on my way down to Seaside Heights in Jersey.
Mm.
Yeah, it was
not exactly
little tough.
Yeah, not exactly the best place to play a motion game.
Well, yeah, not when it has non-optional, non-turn-offable motion. Yeah, so it was a little rough there for a bit, but when it wasn't bouncing in the car, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, as soon as I got to a steady, stable environment, yeah, the controls are really good, and the motion controls are actually not bad. You know, when you're not involuntarily moving.
Yeah.
They're helpful for making minor adjustments. So, if you're actually comfortable, it works. It really works well. Had a lot of fun with that. So like I said, I'm only on the second mansion, but the missions themselves, it's divided into missions. So basically, you're just going into the various mansions and doing whatever the mission requires of you. So finding this one new device for EGAD to hook up to your Poltergust 5000, which is your upgraded Poltergust 3000 from the original game.
Okay.
Or was it There might have been 2000 in the original game.
I own the original game, but I haven't yet to play it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Though I do miss having 2 analog sticks. Because, like I said, would make it probably a lot more super quick accurate. Speed accurate, I guess. Be the words I'm looking for. It would definitely be a lot speedier. But whereas it is right now, you can still easily finish the game. And it's still really... it still feels really good control-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually wondering if maybe they ever updated it to work with the new 3DS and the nub stick. My guess is probably no, but it could be interesting to find that out. But yeah, you're basically just going around sucking up the ghosts, clearing everything out, and restoring order to the mansions. This time, however, there are boos about inside the game rather than just the regular ghosts.
Oh.
Yeah, the boos are a little bit tougher because you have to stun them by looking at them after you make them visible. And once you stun them when they're visible, you run up and you grab their tongues with the vacuum, and then you start fighting them to get them sucked up in the vacuum. So it's a little bit of a different mechanic for them. They've also introduced quite a few different ghosts so far. A lot of them are basically tweaks on existing concepts. So some ghosts will have objects that will block your flashlight burst of light.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have to figure out, okay, well, how do I disarm them? Is it just a matter of waiting until they're in a certain position and then flashing them with the light? Or is it I have to use the vacuum to suck the item off their person and then hit them with the flashlight? So it gives you a little bit of a variety. And it's I'm really, really enjoying it. It is just a super fun game. It's just got so much charm. Where Luigi will just stand there as he's just standing around idle. He'll start to nervously hum along with the music, and it's just really fun and cute when he does it. It's just a nice little touch. This game was painstakingly made with a lot of care, and it shows. And it is a very worthy sequel to the GameCube original. I'm incredibly happy with what they've done so far. So I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm going to continue playing it. So like I said, I'm only in the second mansion. I'm like 2 or 3 missions in on the second mansion, so I've started to finally make my way into the heart of the mansion.
Okay.
But Yeah, it's real fun so far. So definitely a game everybody who has a 3DS should check out. All right. That brings us to Destiny, the podcast.
Ugh.
Oh, Destiny. Where to begin? Oh, yeah, I've just done so much, I don't even know where to start. I guess maybe start with the most recent and work my way backwards. Or, no, let's start with the latest, furthest back thing I remember. Uh, Kind of started playing a bunch of co-op with Morton Muskrat lately, but originally it started out it was Mortific, um, Guile was in K, and Dark Tower, and we were basically really hot to try and go through Crota's End raid, because it is soloable, but it's not quite as easy as I was thinking, because it really takes a lot of tight timing, and I just wasn't quite getting the timing down for being the sword runner. So occasionally I would not make it away from Crota before he stood up, and I met the end of his sword quite a few times. Other times it was just that our group didn't quite have enough damage output, so maybe it was presumptuous for us to go into it with only 4 people and expect to be able to beat it on the first go round. So we wound up not being able to really get too far in that. We got to Crota, and then we just couldn't quite beat him with just 4 of us. And then we couldn't quite beat him with just 3 of us. And then we kind of just sort of stopped. Yeah, we really should have had some higher level people when we were doing that. Unfortunately, not everybody was 32, 33 minimum. Yeah, Guile was 30, which was a bit rough. Yeah. So it was a little rough, and I think we might have scared him off, because he hasn't really touched the game since. Which is kind of unfortunate, because if we had just gone and played like Prison of Elders level 28, we would have given him some decent weaponry, to which he could have held his own for the 32, which would have given him an armor core, which would have given him a really good piece of armor. And that would have bumped his level up by at least 1 or 2. So I am regretting that, because I mean, we could have also done some strikes, which would have given him some credits that he could have used for the Vanguard store.
Right.
So that he would have gotten armor through that, and weapons through that too. So yeah, just lots of regrets there. But better times recently, like I said, I've been playing with Mortific and Muskrat. We've been leveling up Muskrat, and he's been having a much better time because we actually did go through Prison of Elders first. And yeah, now he's level 32, 33 now.
Okay.
I think he's 33 now, so yeah, he can hold his own. And now he's got some decent weaponry. So now he can actually do some serious damage to enemies.
Yeah.
And yeah, we tried out some... last week we tried out some Trials of Osiris. That was maybe a bit sooner than we probably should have, because he was only 32 and didn't quite get the gist of running around the Crucible maps. So maybe it's just a bit fast. So maybe this week we'll be able to do a little bit more of a better run. We actually we won a match, but yeah, I crumbled under the pressure during the 3rd match that we were in, and Yeah, I couldn't quite seal the deal, even though we had gotten down to one person left on the opposing team, and I was up, and it just I cracked because I killed their team 3 times over, but one of them was still alive every time and would revive one of the other people, and then I just couldn't quite seal the deal, and they stopped me out. I just cracked and crumbled under the pressure so bad. It was just horrible to watch. It was horrible even just trying to do it myself. It was pretty bad because I saw it happening. I was like, oh my god, I can't aim. Why can't I aim? Just crumbled in front of it. But yeah, and this week they've been doing the Iron Banner, so I've been running through that and got some etheric light to power up my weapons and gear. And like 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? Yeah, it's like 2 days ago on like Thursday-ish. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. We went into a raid. For the first time, I went through and did Vault of Glass with Mort and a random assortment of 3 other people. And because Vault of Glass normal mode is only like 28 or 26, so 26 or 28, it was very easy and simple. But you still take a lot of damage, so you can't sit on your laurels. Because if you're not being cognizant of where the enemies are and who's shooting at you, you're still going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, of course, I had my self-revive Warlock.
Right.
Because with only 5 people, if one of them goes down, that's a really big problem.
Yep.
So being able to self-revive is a really big help. So it wound up being a group of 2 really, really young kids. Like, I don't know why they were playing this game. Tiny kids.
Because it's
And
rated T for teen. It's the
Yeah.
it's not Call of Duty. I don't have to come in the store and say it's okay for the kid to buy this game.
Still, granted, it was summer, but these kids were awake, and it was like 12 midnight when we were running through the Vault of Glass.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm just saying, it's odd for... Yeah. But the one kid that was actually leading the raid, and he was the one who put the raid together, yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. His friend, however... yeah, he probably shouldn't have been doing the raid, because he had absolutely no idea what anything was going on. He didn't know where he should be aiming, didn't know what was going on when it happened. Constantly he was getting himself killed and putting us all in a really big bind. Because, like I said, with 6 people, there's some leeway. You can have one person go down and still be alright. But when there's only 5, things get a lot tighter.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. At the very end, where we're in the final throes of the fight with Antheon,
Mm-hmm.
the Vault of Glass boss,
Right.
Muskrat joins in finally. So we have a 6th. And up to this point, you get different items per section of the vault you complete.
Yeah.
Up to that, I had gotten just one single piece of armor, which was okay. It was a good piece of armor.
Yeah.
But it doesn't start at the new minimum level of armor that they introduced with House of Wolves. So it's really, really underpowered at first. If you choose to ascend it with some etheric light, then it would become equivalent in terms of stats and armor value with the other pieces of armor. But to do that, you still actually need Ascendant shards and Ascendant energy for the armor weapons. So, like I said when House of Wolves first came out, those are no longer necessary. Yeah, no, they're still very, very necessary. Because vault weapons and armor still require them. So yeah. Don't throw them away. I was very, very wrong. So yeah, once Muskrat joined in, it was super simple. We finished it off in like 2 or 3 minutes after that. And we beat Antheon, the Vault of Glass boss, on normal.
Yay!
So I finally have that feather in my cap, and now I just have to friggin' get some decent weaponry that's elemental, which I finally did in the form of the Vision of Confluence, one of the best scout rifles in the game. So I'm super happy that I now have a primary weapon with an elemental damage on it, that being fire. So it's very, very powerful. Not quite as powerful as, say, electric, but still very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So, still looking for a main weapon that has electric on it, but a main weapon that has fire on it is still very, very good. Because it can take out quite a few different varieties of enemies. And because it is the best scout rifle in the game, I'm going to be bumping that up with some etheric light as soon as I hit rank 5, hopefully tonight, tomorrow, for Iron Banner. So, yeah, having a lot of fun stuff happening recently with the Vault, with the Destiny. I think I'm going to pre-order the Taken King, even if it is $40. The deeper I get in, the more fun I'm having. Because now that I'm actually having 3 people total in a fire team, and we go in and we do the Crucible, or we do some strikes, or we do the Prison of Elders, it's a lot of fun. I'm having way more fun than I was doing solo. Because it's way less, ridiculous. So yeah, we've been doing like the hardest possible strikes that are done, the weekly ones, which are the Nightfalls, which are, if everybody wipes and everybody's dead on the team, you go back to orbit. You don't go to a checkpoint. You don't just restart from the beginning of the mission. You go back to orbit, and you have to re-enter. It's a harsh punishment.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's the hardest strike, so it's gotta have some punishment. But, yeah, we've just been doing those, and we've been doing the weekly, just super hard strike, but not the Nightfall one, the weekly heroic strikes.
Right.
But, yeah, past 2 weeks have been really fun with that game. I've hit a zenith, a new rebirth with that game. Just, I don't know. Just so much more fun now again. So yeah, I'll be playing that for the next foreseeable future. I think it's probably gonna take the place of Call of Duty this year, because I don't know that I'll be stopping playing it. So yeah, that's your Destiny update for the month.
Okay.
And I'll have more maybe next week, because hopefully we'll be able to finish Crota's End raid as a group. Even if we have to go with random kids as our backup. But yeah, we're going to be doing some more Prison of Elders, and hopefully we'll even be able to do Prison of Elders level 35 Skolas. Beat up the hardest enemy in the entire game. That'll be really fun.
Yep.
So that's all the stuff that I've been playing on the Destiny cast this week. You said you had the games coming soon for the rest of August, right?
For all of August, correct.
All right, well, let's hit it. So, what's coming out for the rest of the month?
All right. Well, as you're listening to this, what came out this week, August 4th, Rare Replay for Xbox One.
Yes, that's right. That's this week.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. I gotta go get that.
Yep. 30 rare, in terms of the name of the company, 30 of Rare's titles all in one collection on Xbox One for $30.
Yeah.
10,000.
Totally worth it.
10,000 maximum achievement points.
Was it 10,000?
I think it is.
Huh. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. August 11th, Toy Soldiers War Chest Hall of Fame Edition for PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
So this is the now Ubisoft published Toy Soldiers strategy series that's adding in like G.I. Joe and Cobra and Assassin's Creed.
I want to say He-Man, too?
Yeah, He-Man, yeah. Oh, no, it's like G.I. Joe, He-Man, and Assassin's Creed. There was like no Cobra.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right.
And then X-Blaze Lost Memories for PS3.
There's been a lot of those games, haven't there?
Yeah, quite a few. August 18th sees the retail release of Helldivers from the Sony Spring promotion. This is the Super Earth Ultimate Edition, which I'm assuming adds in a bunch of DLC because it's $40 retail.
Yeah.
Then August 25th is where everything picks up. This is the start of the fall season because that is the day of Madden.
Yep.
And unlike other years, there are other games coming out on the same day.
Yeah, they're taking a big risk.
Well, such as Dishonored Definitive Edition for Xbox One and PS4.
Well, I mean, that's a remaster, re-release, so...
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of these here. It's something to note on this. If you bought Dishonored digitally on 360 or PS3, and this includes the versions given away for free on PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold, you can get the digital version of the Definitive Edition for only $20, which is half off.
Huh. It's not too bad.
Yep. So just something to note there.
Yeah, good note.
You also have Gears of War 1 Ultimate Edition.
See the previous episode for my thoughts on the multiplayer, at least. The single player was always good, but yeah, multiplayer, So, yeah.
Alright, you also have Until Dawn for PS4, one of Sony's 2 first-party console titles for this fall.
Until Dawn.
Yes, this is originally supposed to be a PlayStation Move game. Now it's just a straight adventure game on PS4. It stars Hayden Panettiere from Heroes fame in Nashville.
Yeah, that doesn't really help me because I don't remember who he's played.
Her. The blonde cheerleader from Heroes. She was also on Nashville.
Okay.
Yes, her.
Like, I watched Nashville? I don't know what that is either. I watched Heroes. I remember who she is now.
Cliffy B met her at, like, Gen Con. Or somewhere. Remember, he's told this story before when we were on a show. Alright, anyway. All right.
Oh, you mean Parmeter?
Yes.
You said Cliffy B. I'm like, wait, Cliff Blazinski?
Oh, damn it. Sorry, yes. Captain Comet, yes.
Yeah, there you go, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's been way too long. I didn't remember that.
Okay. Alright, but anyway, think Heavy Rain style adventure game, horror movie. Everybody can die, da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Seems to be pretty interesting.
Alright.
You also have One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 for PS4.
I mean, you can't get enough One Piece.
And then Sunday, August 30th, you have Disney Infinity 3.0 for everything. Console-wise, at least.
Still can't believe Johnny V did that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I still can't believe he did that to Lang.
Look up the final segment of Day 3 of Giant Bomb's E3 podcast. It's like the last
I think
hour.
we linked to it during our E3 episode.
Yeah. It's like the last hour of Day 3.
Yeah, the kerfuffle starts about 20 minutes in-ish.
Well, if you see the video for the whole day.
Right, but I'm saying the kerfuffle of what we're talking about starts about 20 minutes in on that last segment.
Well, right, and then that last segment is like the last hour of the show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, but anyway, all right. So moving on to handhelds, there's not much.
Okay.
As you're listening to this, Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold: The Far Near Night, I think this is a remake, is out on 3DS.
All right.
Garfield Kart, moving to August 11th, Garfield Kart for 3DS.
I still cannot believe, you told me this before the show, cannot still believe they've fallen so low as to put the Garfield characters in a kart game.
Yep. Well, there you go. Also, X-Blaze Lost Memories for Vita.
Right.
And then August 18th is Dungeon Travelers 2, The Royal Library and Monster Seal for Vita.
Okay.
And 3DS on Friday the 21st gets LBX, Little Battler's Experience.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Experience is lowercase except for the X.
Yes. I get what they're going for.
That's it. Because there's no handheld games coming out the week of Madden. That's August.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say that's probably a show, because it seems fairly sizable for what we've been doing.
Yeah, my month of...
the one single news story I think we probably should tackle really quick was a sad story. Happened on, was it July 11th?
Yeah, the second week of July, I think, yeah.
Yeah, July 11th. Unfortunately, the president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, passed away. It was due to a bile duct growth. So I guess, unfortunately, they weren't able to control it last year well enough.
Yeah, which was a full cancer, which wasn't really nobody really knew it was that bad. They just had said, well, he's sick, it's a bile duct thing, but they didn't say that it was full-out cancer.
They said he had surgery last year, which is why he missed E3 last year.
Right.
And then, again, he obviously wasn't feeling too well, and it was obviously progressing well faster than they thought, so he didn't attend this year either.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. It was only 55.
Yeah, and I'm glad. The only thing I did not realize some of the stories of like
I didn't realize some of the games that he worked on.
Yeah, so I mean he came up through HAL, so Kirby's his baby. But what's even more fascinating is the other stuff he did. Like for example, Earthbound wouldn't exist without him. The game was a technical mess, and he had to come in and fix all the coding. Earthbound would not exist without him, literally.
Never knew that either.
You'll have to help me out on this. Which Pokemon game did he look at?
Gold and Silver.
Yeah, so there was like, well, we can only get one city, and this game feels kind of empty. He's like, oh, hold on here. And he
no, it was one region. That was the region that you started in Gold and Silver. Was the only one there, and they barely were able to fit it on the cart. Iwata came in, recoded it, and apparently gave it enough compression that they saved up enough room and put the entire first Johto region on the game cart.
Yeah.
So you had 2 full regions to explore in that game.
Which is why aren't those still some of the most popular ones?
Yeah. Yeah, Gold and Silver was a really popular game.
And then in the ramp up to the launch of the GameCube, when he had already been appointed essentially president-elect of Nintendo, he goes in and grinds the code for Super Smash Bros. Melee and gets it out so that it's within the release window, as we would say now, for the GameCube.
Yeah, the quote-unquote window.
It was a month. It came out in December.
Was it a month?
Yes. I remember that specifically. It came out in December. The console came out in November.
Okay, so that actually was in the launch window.
Yes.
Okay. unlike the quote-unquote launch windows these days.
Yeah, but back then it was like, oh my God, well, why is this not ready?
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't for Iwata, it probably was going to be, probably be more.
Yeah, the promise of Melee was one of the big reasons why I owned a GameCube day one.
And I mean, that game is still, literally, Evo's, the amount of people at Evo, the audience for Evo in terms of attendees, has almost tripled since the inclusion of Melee and Smash Wii U, Smash 4, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Because literally, like, Smash combined was like double. Like, you put all the other fighting game competitors together, and I think Smash, like, doubled that amount of all the other games. By the time you added both together, there was, like, like 4,000 Smash competitors between the two games, and, like, 2,000 to 3,000 when you put everybody else together.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to the numbers specifically.
It's insane. So, and I wouldn't have a Wii U right now without Earthbound, because, that was one of my favorite games. And of course, last year I sold my physical copy of that. I sold the PS4 camera when it was out of print. And I sold my Zelda GameCube version to get the Zelda Wii U bundle, which now to get one of those sealed and new is like twice the price of a normal system. It's like $500-$600 and up, because that's the only special version of the Wii U. And then, of course, I bought Earthbound as a download, so to have Earthbound. But I loved that game. That was just such an awesome game, and got me to broaden my RPGs, because I was just Square then. Like, it was, I only played Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger. If it didn't have that Square logo on it, I didn't touch it. But for some reason, I guess that it wasn't the stupid scratch and sniff ads in Nintendo Power. Gosh, I wish that Console Wars had touched on that, because that was just blah.
Yeah, it's a weird way to advertise.
Wait, I forgot to mention that.
What?
Damn it, I had it on my sheet here, and I totally forgot to mention it. The Console Wars book that came out like last year, and the movie rights have been optioned or whatever.
Right.
That tells the story of Sega of America trying to compete with Nintendo. And basically, you find out it was really Sega of Japan that screwed everything up, because they were jealous of Sega of America.
Okay.
The battle between Sega and Nintendo in the early 90s.
Right. What about it?
I read that book. I bought that book while I was in Southern Illinois, and I read through it, and it's awesome.
Okay.
Anybody should go read that. Anybody that was around or has any interest in games should go read that damn book, because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I've heard from quite a few different people that it was really good.
It just came out in paperback within the last couple months.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot that. I had it written down, but yeah, awesome book. But yeah, I wish they had touched on that, because I still don't know if maybe they did an article about it, or maybe I rented it or something, but I got Earthbound. I remember buying it at the old Walmart in Marion, Illinois, with the, because it wasn't with the other games, because it was the huge box. So it was with like all the accessories and stuff. Like, I bought like the last copy at that Walmart, and I wish I still had the box. And I know I threw away the big box. I know I threw that away.
Right.
I had the strategy guide. They re-released it digitally for free, but that strategy guide got packed up with all my 90s video game magazines, and they didn't have room for it, and they got put out in my dad's garage, and they're probably all ruined. It's like I had all the old Nintendo Powers and Game Pros, video games and computer entertainment, and a bunch of old EGMs, and in good condition. Those are worth money.
Oh, yeah.
They've just rotted for 10, 15 years out in my dad's garage, and they're probably all ruined.
Yeah. Well, next time you go, you'll have to check.
Yeah. But it was a little weird with Iwata. I mean, Nintendo's not in the greatest place now, and throughout most of the history of this show, I had been a staunch critic of Nintendo. I mean, it took Fire Emblem to bring me back into the fold.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with a bunch of stuff, like, why do I have to sit outside of Best Buy for 2 flippin' hours because I did that on Friday too. Friday was
again. Okay.
Well, that was Dark Pit Day, and I had to go buy it for Cheetor Lives because he couldn't get off work. I actually slept in, and I didn't mean to. I didn't get there till 8:30, and I was like 20th in line, 20, 30, something like that in line.
But you still had enough time to get it.
They still had enough where I got them. But,
okay.
I mean, they had run out. Like, if you did not sit outside of Best Buy that day, you didn't get them. Because there was no online sales, no pre-orders, just first come, first serve Friday morning.
All right, well, yeah.
But
they've made some bad choices. They made some odd decisions with their console.
I mean,
they made some odd decisions with their handheld.
Well,
I mean, they were starting to turn it around.
Well, no. I mean, the 3DS had stemmed some of the bleed. The Wii U is just a failure. I mean, it's going to be this
right, but they're turning around the Wii U a little bit more each time they release something that's an incredible must-have game.
Well, the Wii U's done.
Yeah, it's not a success.
No,
it's not.
I mean, it's
not even close.
I'm like, we will be lucky if they do not turn Zelda into another cross thing again.
I don't know that they would.
But we're already getting Dragon Quest XI. Oh, it's coming out for NX2. Oh, oops, we weren't supposed to say that.
Oh. Okay, so I guess we might be expecting it next year.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Interesting.
Or it could be, the game doesn't come out in 20 until, I mean, for Square Enix to get a JRPG done.
True.
Yeah, maybe it is
27.
But still, yet we have our first announced NX game. So, I mean, basically, on the Wii U, you've got Mario Maker, you've got Yoshi, which is already out everywhere else but here. You've got Mario Party Animal Crossing. You've got a Mario Tennis game. And then, the Fatal Frame, or Xenoblade Chronicles X, they're finally bringing a Fatal Frame over. And then you got Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem and Zelda. And then that's it.
Of the stuff announced, yeah.
Well, you know that they are working on a 3D Mario, and it's going to be for NX. And,
I would hope so.
And supposedly there's going to be a Metroid game for NX. And
a standard Metroid,
a real Metroid. So, I've gotten on the Wii U. The Wii U has given me access to some games that, I will enjoy my Wii U. I could buy some, there are some Wii games that, I could get the Operation Rainfall RPGs at some point, and, I'll enjoy my Wii U, and, it's the only access I have to Earthbound, so,
it also is backwards compatible, so you can play some Wii games that were really good.
Yeah, I have access to the Virtual Console on Wii, I have access to the Wii games that were good, so...
Like Galaxy 2.
I have Galaxy 2 already, and...
Galaxy 1 is a really good choice, too. It's really, really good.
Yeah, so, I have... I will enjoy my Wii U, but, it's a nice secondary console to my PS4. That's what the PS3 was to my 360.
Yeah.
It was the nice secondary console, but,
Well, that was for different reasons, though.
Yeah.
That was mostly for multiplayer reasons.
Yeah. But, it's just...
It's a really, really sad... It's just really sad that it happened when he was so young.
Yeah. He was in his mid-50s.
Yeah, he hadn't even really begun to fully do some crazy things with Nintendo yet.
Yeah, I mean, he steered the ship. I mean, DS and Wii, that's on his watch, and that's the most successful Nintendo's ever been. So that has to be noted. But
I have a feeling that they would have easily enjoyed some very massive success with him at the helm for whatever they're doing next.
I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, as we see the NX and whatever this mobile stuff they're doing, these were started under his watch, and then who's going to take over, and
Yeah, we still don't know who they're going to appoint as the new president.
Nintendo is a company in transition.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish some of these stories of him were known without him having to pass away.
Yeah, and I had no idea he was the person who programmed the balloon fight.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
NES Open Tournament Golf, which I still think is one of Nintendo's best golf games. It's still one of the best golf games ever. That was him for the NES.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was the creator of Kirby.
Yeah. And then Earthbound.
Yeah.
Pokemon and Smash, and yeah.
Yeah, the fact that he was a wizard at coding, I didn't know that either.
I did not, I'm just stunned that these stories weren't told earlier.
Yeah.
But
you will be missed.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately we gotta end the show on sort of a somber down note like that. But we just had to get that out. It's been too long.
Yeah.
That was just the absolute top story when it happened.
Right.
It was incredibly important. It just could not wait.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do it for this week. Hopefully we'll have some happier news next week. Most likely.
Hopefully.
But that'll do it for this episode this week. Don't forget to subscribe to the show through iTunes or the Xbox Music Marketplace. Is that what they're still calling it right now? Okay. They haven't transitioned yet. And go ahead and
Stitcher Radio app.
Yeah, you can listen to us on the go on Stitcher Radio for your smartphones. Go ahead and leave us a rating or star rating or written review. Wow, mix that up completely. If you're on iTunes or the Xbox Music Marketplace, because that just helps us get out to more listeners. And we want you to be better informed listeners. We want to help you make better decisions on your gaming purchases. That's what we're about. We want to point you in the direction of games that are worth your time. That was the entire point of the show when we started it, and we still believe in that message today. 213 episodes later. Still rolling, still want more people to understand some of these games are worth your time. So, as I have been playing way too much Destiny in between everything else that's really, really awesome, Destiny has become really, really awesome. And we'll have another Destiny cast next week. My name is Stephen Boss, the Dark Boss Man.
And where the hell did July go? I'm MSU Hitman Jason Billingsley.
It just flew right out the window, man. I don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
It feels like a week ago it was July 4th. Yeah. So I don't even know. But hopefully we'll see you on live, PSN, and maybe even on the net.
Peace out, everybody.